Last week, lost a tough game at South Alabama. It's a game that is a hard match for us. That's part of basketball today at all different levels, and we seem to bring out the best in them. For the second time, we led in the first half, played a really good first half, only to let them shoot 60% in the second half. Wasn't quite as good as they shot the ball here in the Cajun Dome, but they shot the ball extremely well. We couldn't stop them. We used 6 different defenses in the second half and couldn't slow them down. And then when we did slow them down, they got to the free throw line quite a bit. It was one of those games that the calls didn't fall our way, and the shots fell South Alabama's way. And we got the game close at the end, had a chance, got actually within a possession with 1:20 to go, and they called a foul in the backcourt, let them go make 2 free throws. In the next possession, they let them go make 2 free throws again. So it's hard to defend those. And it was a disappointing loss. Our group regrouped and headed to New Orleans, spent the night there, got up, caught a direct flight to San Antonio that went through Dallas and sat for an hour. After sitting for an hour, New Orleans on the runway before we took off. So flew into San Antonio, then bus to San Marcos, and had a good practice and got ready for the game the next day with Texas State. For the second time or third straight opponent, the team that we played was off the playing date before us, and we've got 2 more to go in this week in Appalachian State and UT Arlington. It'll be 5 in a row. I think we're the only team in the league that has that scheduling quirk. But Texas State had been struggling a bit recently, and we were fortunate to get off to a good start. We shared the ball against those guys, moved the ball. Bryce Washington and Jonathan Stove had really good first halves, and we were able to get a lead, and then again let them come back. They got to the free throw line and cut the 16-point lead down, and we had to come from ahead in the second half again, Dave, to pull that out. We're getting pretty good at that. But seriously, teams in basketball continue to play well in the second half. I mean, no one's going to lay down and let you beat them, unlike a couple of games we had at home. But everybody's competitive, and I think it's no different than the game that was on television yesterday. It's not over till it's over, and you have to continue to play. So looking ahead this week, first of all, we got a big week with the reunion with Coach Hatfield, who started the program back after Coach Shipley in the mid-'70s, and his era, and the young men that came in, and some of the administration that were very instrumental in reviving our program and helping provide even more of our great tradition. And then Coach Pascal, who was the last coach to coach in Blackham, and brought us over to the Cajun Dome. So we're excited about those guys returning. Those 2 coaches are personal friends of mine, have been for a long time, and they care a lot about this university and this basketball program. And we're delighted to have them back and recognize them on a game that's going to be televised on ESPN2 against UT Arlington on Saturday. First up with App State on Thursday, they've got a nice team. They won their first conference game at Arkansas State and returned to Boone, and we beat those guys there in a game where we played well in the first half and were able to hang on the second half and beat them 80-64. And they lost 3 games in a row after that, so they won 1, lost 4, and now they've won 4 and lost 1. They really got it going. They beat Georgia State at home. They lost their last game at Georgia Southern, and as I said earlier, they've been off this weekend going into our game Thursday night. They've got a guy in Eves that can really shoot the ball. He's averaging 19 and 5 in conference play. He's one of the best perimeter people in our league. They won at Texas State a week or a half ago. He had 31 of their 64 points, so he's a very good scorer. We did a good job on him up there, and he just missed some shots on top of a good defensive effort by our team. And Tommy Spagnola is an inside guy that does a nice job for him. He averages 10.5 and 7. A good inside-outside combination. And they've got a couple other guys. Burgess is a good point guard. Clark can shoot the ball. Babbitt can shoot the ball. But they're a good basketball team and one that will have to be ready. We don't want them to come in and pick up a victory here in Lafayette. As a first-year program, we know that happened to our football team and cost them a championship, and we don't want that to happen. So we want to make sure that we're ready to go on Thursday. We're looking forward to a couple of good days of practice. Again, get back in the Thursday, Saturday routine, and then get ready for Arlington with one-day prep after. We're 6-5 in the league. A year ago, we were 3-5. I think a lot of people are think the jar's half full, but there's a lot to be said instead of the jar being half empty. We've got more games left than we had last year, and it's all in front of us, and we're looking forward to continuing to play well.
What prompted the change in the starting lineup, putting Stove in? What did you see from him earlier?
Defense. He's one of our better defensive guards, so we started him in both the last two games. We'll see what happens this week.
You see him kind of then go up offensively, especially the first half. Just how important was that in the context of the game?
It was certainly well received. I mean, we needed him to be aggressive. He had 15 at the half. I don't think he missed a shot, did he, Jay? The first half played well and could have had a super game, you know, if things would have fallen right for him. But I tell you, he made a great play in the second half and got the and one when we really needed it to help us break the tie and get the lead late in the game.
What's been the biggest benefit to other guys of some of those changes that you made starting early?
Well, it felt like Casey came off the bench against South Alabama. We started Stove in his place. We'd started Rimmer, I think, maybe the game before. I can't remember, guys. But Casey came in and shot the ball well against South Alabama. And then second half, we started Casey over Brian Williams, and Casey didn't defend very well, and it hurt us. And he wasn't the only one. But that's one benefit. I think he can help us defensively, and Stove has got some size and does a good job from that standpoint. And some guys are better off the bench, some guys are better starting. It doesn't really matter to me. We're going to play a lot of people as we do. I think we probably played 11 or 12 people in both games in the first half. So more about finishing to me.
Bob, with Williams transferring in last year, I know he's been counted upon being an older senior for leadership. Seems to have shown that quite a bit. Last couple of games, he hadn't played as much. What's his status now?
Well, we'd like for him to show it more, Mike. To be honest, he's had his moments where he's really done that, and he can really help us defensively. But if you just look back at the numbers, didn't play well against Georgia State up there, had a poor shooting game, did have a couple of assists. He had a positive assist to turnover ratio, which he's not very good in that category. In fact, he's one of the worst on our team, and he's got to get better at that on the offensive end, and got to play better defense. You know, I didn't think he defended well at South Alabama, so we didn't play him. And Stove got off to a great start and got his minutes the other day. So I expect more from Brian, and hopefully we'll get it.
What do you think has been leading to some of the drop-off from the first half to second halves, kind of the games prior? How big was it to then get the big run at the end against Texas State?
Well, the drop-offs, I mean, we're not going to go out and dominate a team from start to finish if that's what you're asking. I don't – everybody has – especially at home, the teams are going to come out and play you hard. I don't drop-offs are some calls that don't go our way. I mean, there are a lot of different things that can go into that. We have to be better on offense. We have to be better on defense. We're giving up too many baskets. And it's just part of the game. I don't see anything with that. It was good to come from behind the other day, yes, or come from ahead, as we mentioned, to pick that victory up. And we knew that we could win this game, and it was a crucial game for us, and hopefully it'll give us confidence going forward.
What is the feeling now about confidence in terms of finishing strong compared to roughly where you were around this time last year?
Well, last year we were 3-5 and we had less games. So this year we're 6-5 and have more games. So we have 5 games at home, I think 4 on the road, and we want to play well. We know that if we shoot the ball and defend a little bit better, that we're one of the better teams in the league. And it's all about seeding and trying to go forward the best we can and get the best seed that we can in the tournament. We've said that all along.
Saturday was the first time Sean had gotten in foul trouble in a lot of games. Can you talk a little bit about how your team sort of had to compensate for that, and they were able to kind of push through it?
Well, Devontae Walker came in the other day. We started Bryce the last two games. Don't know which direction we'll go on Thursday, but Devontae came in and had a nice game for us. And he also made a big basket, I want to say, to break the tie late in the game, and then he made his free throws, which we all did, going 20 of 23. But Devontae was able to cover for him a little bit. Imani Gant's a very good player for them, an all-conference guy, and I thought we did a good job defensively. They had a young man named Tilbury that jumped up and scored 20 points. He was 3 for 18 in 10 conference games, and against us he goes 3 for something. He made 3, so that was a surprise a little bit. But he missed the one late in the game, which we held them scoreless the last 6.5 minutes, I believe. But Sean sitting, the other guys just stepped up. We had good support off the bench, and Sean did a good job staying in the game. He's much better at that than he was a year ago, and then the year before that, even as a freshman. So he was able to come back and make some big plays for us.
Do you notice that guys prepare or get ready for a game any differently when they know that it's going to be the cable TV cameras deal with this team in the country compared to?
No,
anything else?
I don't think so. I think we get ready to play every game the same. At least I hope so. We don't talk about that much. I mean, the guys know that the game's broadcast, but every game's broadcast now. I mean, I think you guys probably get to see some of the games you don't attend by looking online. So everything's out there for people to see.
Jay Wright had 10 assists, only 1 turnover in the win. How much have you guys emphasized him as a staff to kind of take control of the offense? How important is he going to be in these last final games of the Sun Belt play?
Well, he's very important. And looking back at South Alabama, he fouls out. And, we thought he had 1 foul, but the referees thought he had 5. And that hurt us. It really hurt us in this game. Because he's playing very well, he's getting more comfortable. As we said, when he doesn't play well, it definitely affects our team. And he does a lot of different things. Against Georgia State, he scored the ball in the home game. I think he had 20 points. In this game, he passed the ball, but he always defends. And if you go back to our guards in the question earlier, I told the coaches after the game the other night that we have a lot of guys that can score the ball, but that's what they do. And outside of that, who can impact the game in different ways? And Jay Wright's our best guard at doing that. He doesn't have to score. He can pass, he can defend, and do other things, run the team. So outside of Jay, we don't have a lot of guys that can do that. We had one last year.
Just how comfortable are you with the idea of kind of placing more responsibility into freshmen as you get closer to the tournament and all that? What have they shown that, allows you to do that, sir?
I mean, I signed them. I knew that when I signed them, we went over this earlier, that they can play, and they're getting more experience. They started a couple of games. I think somebody said Stove's first start last week. He started in Vegas earlier in the year, and Bryce has started a couple of games. But they're very capable. They're smart players, and they've been effective for us on both ends. Bryce had a tough game offensively the other night. He missed his last 5 shots, I think. Made one to start the second half, and then he missed some bunnies right at the basket that we'd like to have back. He got frustrated, but he also got 9 rebounds, I think, and had 2 big blocks in the last 3 minutes of the game. So they can impact the game without scoring also.
Bob, with that TV game coming up Saturday, does it change things with the way you have to do your schedule with the team? And does it change the team one way or another?
Well, our schedule will be a little bit different because the game got moved up from the evening to the afternoon, and we have the reunion, and that puts a little bit of time demand on us more than anything. Coach Murphy's been extremely busy with this reunion, and as I said earlier, Coach Hatfield and Coach Pascal love this university, and they've done their part. So it takes up a lot of time, and hopefully some of you guys can continue to have them on the radio or interview some of the coaches this week, put them on TV when they come in. And we'll have a meeting, I guess, playing Thursday and Friday, we'll have a reception at the Alumni House and then have another reception the day of the game. So that'll take up some time for me a little bit. The coaches wanted me to fly out of state and watch a game Friday night, high school game, and I just can't do it. There's too much going on here. So, but that's the biggest thing. The players will be ready. I mean, being at home, it'll be nice to have 2 games at home and not have to travel again and turn around and play Saturday at the Cajun Dome.
Stove, I don't want to say fell into like a funk in the middle of the season. He started off really hot, and his minutes kind of went down a little bit. What did he show you to build that faith back up a little bit? I guess if you're putting him.
Yeah, well, the faith's always been there, but to get the more opportunity to play, it's just we weren't getting production from Brian. So you go to the next man up, and Jonathan's there, he's ready, and we felt like he can help us defensively and he can rebound. Again, if you look at all of our guards, he's one of the better rebounding guards. He's one of the better defending guards that we have.